and we are back to discuss more on the Champions Trophy teams, and it's the turn of South Africa. So another opportunity for men in yellow and green. Will there be a Champions poster on the 70 screen?
Look, what is the team that you're talking about?
Protea Fire.
Protea Fire. How many trophies have they won?
One ICC knockout trophy.
Yeah, erstwhile.
Erstwhile. But, in the 21st century, they have not yet won a single trophy.
Yeah.
Okay. We are talking about a team that redefines the boundaries of how to lose in a winning position every single time. South Africa, forever the perennial bridesmaid every single time in an ICC event. 1999, oh, we tie, we go out. 2003, we misinterpret a rain rule, we go out. 2002 Champions Trophy, cruising, but a cramp, we lose by 10 runs.
He's actually talking like Kumar Sangakkara now, that Sri Lanka-South Africa match of 2003, the way he was sledging Sean Pollock.
Yes. 7 beaten by an Australian team, 11 undone by New Zealand, 15 undone by New Zealand, 19 not even there, 2024. 25 of 27, yet you lose by 7 runs.
2021 undone by net run rate, T20 World Cup.
Yes, because they lost one game in the beginning to Australia. Net run rate, rain.
No, that was not because of the rain. That was because they did not chase the target of 80 odd against Bangladesh within 10 overs.
And also, they didn't restrict England to a 10. They had to win by 20 runs. They lost by 10 runs.
Yeah.
That is South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, in a nutshell for you, South Africa gunning for yet another ICC event, something that has eluded them. Now, before coming to be in the favourites or anything, what is more imminent? South Africa choking or South Africa going out early? What is more imminent of the two? Or are left field, are they the favourites?
I think they are one of the favourites
I
to
think they're a
progress to
good
top
side.
4.
They're a good side.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is it +2?
I disagree with this totally. Yeah.
Okay.
See, they weren't making it till now, but now Australia, since they don't make it to the semis, the group dynamic has changed, and that's where I think South Africa come into the picture. Let's not forget that they played very well in the T20 World Cup. They, if they had won it, they would have become the other team or the first team then, and not India, to win the entire tournament without losing a single match, and that was a first, as we know, in the T20 World Cup. So the thing with South Africa is, again, they can be up at one point, they can be low in the other, and
I think Harshit has gotten mistaken by the jersey. Even Pakistan, same green. 1 minute up, next minute they're down. South Africa also same, darker green and a bit of yellow.
But when I look at this side, I must say one thing. As I was saying for New Zealand as well, I think it's the batting that looks very good, and there is a sense of it being a well-rounded team as well. The other well-rounded team, if I can say, that there's actually no glaring error over here. If you ask me, maybe a little more I would have expected from the Pacers, but you've got a Tabrez, you've got a Keshav. We know in these conditions they can be very, very handy.
Plus a Markram for a spin.
Plus there is a Markram as well. And some of the batters are looking sharp as ever. So you put all of that together, they do have the resources. Resources aren't a problem. On paper, they look like a good team.
I think if we, let's just, look at, first of all, their 15-member squad. Themba Bavuma is going to be their captain. He also led them in the 2023 ODI World Cup in India. Tony Ray Zorzi is going to be their opener. He replaces Quinton de Kock, who doesn't play ODIs now. Rassie van der Dussen, Aiden Markram, who will be the vice captain of this side. Henrik Klaassen, David Miller, Wiaan Mulder, bowling all-rounder. Marco Jansen, Kagiso Rabada, Keshav Maharaj, Lungi Ngidi, Tabraiz Shamsi, who will accompany Keshav Maharaj to handle the spin duties. Tristan Stubbs, Ryan Rickelton, a backup keeper to Henrik Klaassen, and Corbin Bosch, who was the last-minute replacement of
Nokia.
Henrik Nokia.
Yeah. So when you read the team out, okay, batting looks decent. Temba,
good, yeah.
Temba offers that solidity at the top of the order. Themba Bavuma. Tony de Zorzi has shown that yes, he can play good knocks. You have a very solid middle order in Henrik Klaassen, who's a beast in these conditions. He's slowly regaining that form which had eluded him post the T20 World Cup. I think in some of the series he was really bad with it, but then bounced back in the Pakistan series. But South Africa are not having momentum at all. because they lost 3-0 to Pakistan. They were hammered in the tri-series by both Pakistan and New Zealand.
But Siddharth, let's not forget, in both those tournaments, key players were playing the SA20.
Not Pakistan series.
The tri-series though.
Yeah, the tri-series.
The tri-series
yes,
though.
Which is why I think South Africa, look, they did the same thing, were hammered in New Zealand when their key players decided to play the SA20, and they picked a B squad for the 2 test series, which they lost. But yet they are in the WTC final. Okay, you got a Heinrich Klaassen.
Let's not even get there.
Yeah,
please.
you got a Heinrich Klaassen, you got a David Miller, you got an Aiden Markram, you got a Tristan Stubbs. So there is firepower.
And they bat deep. This team
Yeah.
also bats very deep. The
Until Marco Janssen,
Until
Keshav
Marco
Maharaj.
Janssen. Look at the number of batters that they have, and they can all fit in very well together. You got a Bavuma Zorzi who's going to be opening. Van der Dussen, I don't know if you can make space for him in the 11 because
Let's try, because see, there is an Aiden Markram that you're saying will bat at 3.
I think Markram at 3,
Klaassen at 4,
Miller at 5,
the Stubbs at 6.
Stubbs at 6, Janssen at 7. And then you'll have
Maharaj at 8, Kagiso Rabada at 9,
9.
you got Shamsi at 10, and you got Lungi Ngidi at 11.
Yeah.
Or a Corbin Bosch.
So in that case, Van der Dussen doesn't make it to the 11.
It's strange, isn't it? Van der Dussen was one of the most consistent batters in ODIs for South Africa about a couple of seasons ago. Now he doesn't even find himself in the
Or you can
team.
do one thing, then if you want to have him in the 11, then you just lose out on your bowling a little bit. Maybe you can't play Tabrez and Keshav Maharaj together.
For those conditions in
Now
Pakistan.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And maybe, because Pakistan themselves are going to be going pace heavy, as we know. So maybe there is room for you to make that move. You look at India also, India won't be fielding 2 specialist spinners together with Keshav and again, I don't know if you're looking at Keshav as a pure all-rounder.
No, he's a spinner. More of a spinner than a batter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you can play Shamsi and him together, I don't know. In case you can take one of them out, then you can have Van der Dussen, I think, in the 11,
Yeah.
and that leaves you still with Lungisani Ngidi. It leaves you with Rabada, Janssen. So you've got 30 overs over there. Then you get full 10 from either a Maharaj or a Shamsi, whosoever plays, and then you will have to rely on
Markram.
on Markram. And Markram will also need some bowling from Mulder as well. I think, these two put together will then have to give you the other 10 overs. So if
Yeah.
that is something you're willing to sort of have 2 part-timers of sorts, give you 10 overs and 10 from the others, maybe you can have a batting lineup that goes very, very deep.
See, the problem with South Africa is that even they have been impacted by injuries. 2 players have been ruled out due to injuries. One is Gerald Coetzee and the other is Andrich Nortje.
Yeah.
Corbin Bosch had a good debut. So he made a 80 and he got wickets in that test versus Pakistan. Okay. So he is, again, I don't know whether he's a bowling all-rounder or a batting all-rounder. I don't know. I think he's more of a bowling all-rounder,
Yeah.
Corbin Bosch. Corbin Bosch can be a backup option. Then I think, yeah, it's very difficult to fit in a Rassie van der Dussen, which is why I think South Africa's weakness primarily comes from their team composition. Most of the guys, Kagiso Rabada, Marco Janssen, they don't have that much of experience in Pakistan conditions, or even in Dubai for that matter. So that's
But if
why-
you practice on cemented nets and all, I think that's decent practice you need to go to Pakistan.
No,
But
I think
again,
the-
we don't know with ICC coming in whether the pitches in Pakistan
They
will
have
be.
just gotten custody of all the stadiums there a couple of days back. How much will they change in 4 days?
National Stadium from a road, it became a very good pitch. Let's make no mistake about it. What was 300, 350 so easily, it became 240, and 240
Yeah.
also became quite difficult. So, if the conditions in all the venues, if they become like what they are in Karachi in the final, then it gives South Africa's bowling a big advantage.
if those outside edges would have carried in the tri-series final, things would have been different. Because Naseem Shah was
Bowling with fire,
fire,
and that's
seriously.
why. See, South Africa have the unit. They have the batting unit, they have the bowling unit to do wonders. But their weakness is here.
Psychology.
No, I think that I'm going to talk about 3 things here. One strength for South Africa, one weakness, and one candidate who would be unlucky to miss out. I think one of the biggest strengths that South Africa have is their batting. I
Yeah,
think they
firepower.
have great options. Temba Bavuma, I think it's the best format after he doesn't really excel much in T20 cricket, but more than the test format, I think it's the ODI format that he would be most comfortable in as an opener. The batting is absolutely perfect. Aiden Markram may be coming in at number 3 or number 4, depending upon the composition that they have. Henrik Klaassen, as Siddharth also pointed, he is turning out to be the batter that he was, during the T20 World Cup in 2024. So overall, they are ticking most of the boxes. One weakness, I feel, they do not really have any informed backups for a certain Marco Jansen, Kagiso Rabada and Keshav Maharaj. The point is that, these three would definitely start in their 11, but Lungisani Engedi doesn't really inspire any confidence as far as his latest form is concerned.
That's where South Africa Shardul Thakur takes wickets.
But the thing with Engedi is he can be a tad expensive, but will get you breaks.
The only point is that I don't see him making it to the playing 11 initially. I think South Africa would rather be tempted to go in with Vian Mulder because he offers you that batting option also, and he can bowl at a good pace too, 140 plus.
Isn't he a backup to Marco Jansen?
No, he is, but he can be used, but he's more of a bowling all-rounder.
And he played in the tri-series as well.
What about a Corbin Bosch?
I think he's just going to be a backup. He would only come, if there's any last-minute injury replacement. So weakness for me is that their bowling lacks those good backup options, and that's where they're going to miss the likes of Henrik Nokia, Gerald Kodzia, and for that matter, even Nandre Berger. So these are these three options that they'll miss.
Yep.
One player who I think of the 11 that both Harshit and Siddharth also discussed, I feel would be unlucky to miss out. I think it's going to be Tristan Stubbs. I don't see him making the 11. For me, basically the 11 will be Temba, Tony De Zorzi, Rassi Venterdasan. I cannot get rid of him. He has to be my number 3. He was South Africa's settled number 3 during the ODI World Cup also, and he did really well. You cannot keep him out. Aiden Markram 4, Klaasen 5, Miller 6, Jansen 7, 2 spinners, 2 pacers.
I don't think I can
I think
afford to have
it is harsh,
Tristan Stubbs on the bench.
But I think he goes out.
See, because look, if you want stability in the middle order, Stubbs isn't giving you that. It's a Van der Dussen who is giving you that.
Yeah,
and Klaasen. But again, if I remove a Stubbs, then I think my firepower might be decreased in case if a Heinrich Klaasen doesn't fire.
No, I don't think, this South African middle order, at least for the Champions Trophy, at least if all the, potential 11 players are fully fit, I don't think they need Tristan Stubbs here because in the middle order, they have enough firepower. Klaasen, Miller, Marco Jansen, who else do you need?
That's true.
Yeah.
But then see, my weakness for South Africa is in the mind. Somewhere in the middle, when you look at ICC events, when it's knockout or when the pressure is on them, they absolutely freeze. Look at 2022. They were on top. They just needed to beat Netherlands. But no, they lost to the Netherlands, said India, Pakistan, after you. That's what happened. Pakistan just had to beat Bangladesh, and they did. India were guaranteed then with that one loss. That's why South Africa, they can push the boundaries of absurdity, and that's my only weakness. Otherwise, the squad strengths, as I said, batting has firepower, the bowlers have variety, opportunities, but the threat I feel is all can freeze in one particular day. That's what happened in the semi-final also, where only Miller contributed, but the rest of the bowlers did not give them that much of a backup. And Travis Head, the way how he started, he took Rabada out of the equation. Later on, the others came in. So that's my one strength and weakness when you look at South Africa. So before we sign out, Arshid, you want to say anything?
Yeah. For me though, I will say that I think Keshav Maharaj is the player that can turn things around for them.
Absolutely. He has to be their game changer.
Yes. More than, in fact, while there is a bigger name in the bowling department, that of Kagiso Rabada, I feel Keshav Maharaj will hold the key in those middle overs. And like we know, ODI cricket, things, you make or break things in the middle overs, and that's where he's very smart. Keshav Maharaj, don't be mistaken, is a very, very smart bowler in the middle overs. If he gets the right conditions, then I think he can cause problems. So I think the strength for me lies in Keshav Maharaj. Can he pair with Shamsi? That is something for Australia to decide.
South Africa.
For South Africa to figure out.
Because they did pair against in the Australia in that semi-final in 2023.
Yes. So I think he's the X factor for South Africa. The weakness for me, I think it's the pacers, which at times can be erratic at times. Because does Rabada get the right support is something I don't know. Even
Jansen can go for runs if he's not maintaining his line and length well.
Yeah, so it's the pace department that doesn't give me a lot of confidence. But yeah, that batting I must say, looks solid.
So, final question: do you see South Africa make it to the semi-finals?
Absolutely.
I see them going through as well.
Well, I had not picked Australia to go through, and looking at England's form, I don't see that happening. So basically, yes, I'll again make it 3-zip.
It's kind of funny, but in this group, England, South Africa,
So
Australia,
you're going with Australia? No, you
that I'm going to reveal tomorrow.
Okay.
Who else I'm going with? But it's kind of funny that in this group, England, South Africa, Australia, and Afghanistan, the team currently.
I know he's going to pick
No,
Afghanistan.
the team that currently has a lot of momentum is Afghanistan because they recently defeated South Africa in an ODI series.
For the first
also.
time, they had beaten a top 10 side.
2024.
Yeah, in that sense. But again, if you look at it, South Africa, see, look at it. They have beaten England in the past in the Champions Trophy. They have done that. They are going to face Australia for the first time in the Champions Trophy
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
And
First time in 27 years.
yeah, they have never faced Australia in the Champions Trophy, but they have lost to Afghanistan. And that is why I think, see, they will make it primarily because Australia are not in form and England are not in form. That is why I think they'll make it. They'll somehow scrape through, which is why I think South Africa might make it, but there are glaring weaknesses. So, on that note,
I think let's end on the question that I began with. Another opportunity for the men in yellow and green. Will they finally claim the title?
No.
And there'll be a champions poster over the said 70 screen?
no.
Can they be champions? Oh,
I have said no.
I think it is possible.
Here we disagree, luckily.
I doubt as well because if they are to meet India in the final,
Then gone.
yeah,
Unless it's a New Zealand
And
South
India-
Africa final.
yeah, and India would, the one team India would be okay playing in the final would be South Africa, I think.
Yeah.
We'll get to that
We'll
tomorrow.
get to that. So, yes,
Yeah.
thank you so much, folks, for joining us. We'll be bringing you more updates on sports today regarding the teams. We are just building up to the Champions Trophy. From me, Harshit, and Sid Gulati. It's bye-bye.